Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by doing, you guessed it, another video discussing Disney when it comes to the theme parks, movies, or something, I guess you can say. So yeah, it's gonna be one of those types of videos where I bring in more news or whatever, I guess you can say. So, I guess this is more in regards of a article came across with again. Uh, Will Disney announce its release date anytime soon? Of course, in regards to Frozen 3. Even though, despite the fact that they never made a claim that there will be a part 2. And though it did happen anyway, they never made a claim that they're going to make a part 3. And yeah, some people like to really use that. Part 2 was never planned, which yes, I acknowledge the fact I said that before. But this doesn't mean that this is going to happen. Of course, it made a lot of money. The article does bring up the fact that the second movie did made a truck ton of money. So of course, yes, of course, a lot of people want another one because of this. The fact that it was well received and it did financially pretty well as well, of course. So yeah, it became really well known. So a lot of people like to say that okay, this because of this could be a good chance that it's going to happen. Of course, but this doesn't necessarily mean it would, but I can see why people would think that would be, of course. And yeah, this was, of course, something I discussed before, and I feel like I keep repeating myself and whatnot. The second movie was already facing some complications from the get-go, because as I mentioned before, the second movie was not based upon any existing material. The yeah, the first one was based on a well, okay, loosely based on an old story. But okay, what about the third one? What about the third movie? Well, what's that going to be? The second movie was not based on no material, so that means the second sequel won't be based on any material. So yeah, Frozen 2 was the first sequel to the series. Frozen 3 would be the second sequel to the series. And but yeah, what's that going to be about? Of course. So like I was saying, the second film faced complications because we are going to try to make it seem refreshing, of course, and whatnot. It already went through quite a bit for it to be made when you think about it. So yeah, I don't know how this would work exactly, really, like at all. But this is something that I feel like maybe should be left alone. So I don't know, just my 2 cents, I guess. The article was pretty much going to say something about the possibilities of a Frozen trilogy. So, but yeah, the article stated that it was reported earlier that Frozen 3 will be the last movie of the franchise, which I find questionable because I made a video before stating that nothing was confirmed as of yet, and even to this very day, right now, at the time of the recording anyway, there's still nothing that was confirmed that a third movie is going to happen. It could be just as well as the second movie that could be the last one of the series. So I don't know where the article got that from, really. I mean, yes, there was a big gap of time between both films, about 6 years, and that actually used that 6 year period within the story itself as well, of course. So yeah, the article states that people would expect the same time production of Frozen 2 to take an equal long time as well to complete. Not necessarily, because the people at Pixar have said that it takes them 4 years to complete each film, which actually they kind of odd, things kind of odd really for each movie. But because when you think about the Toy Story films, of course there's four of them, and each of them takes 4 years. They'll be making movies in between those movies, so they're gonna be taking 4 years of those films as well. Because when you think about between the 6 years between Frozen 1 and 2, we're already making movies as well. So the fact that the people at Pixar or Disney or whatever stated that they say it takes 4 years to make, kind of questionable if you ask me, but whatever. But okay, that's really this. I don't really get into that much really. But anyway, the Frozen 2 did premiere pretty much towards the end of the year 2019. So this article states that if Frozen 3 happens, the film could end up being maybe somewhere maybe 2023 or 2024. Even though some other articles stated that the film's gonna be released in 2025. So a bit of a conflict information there. But anyway, as I was saying, the article states that Disney hadn't confirmed the third film yet. So it contradicted itself. So how can it say that, but then a moment ago it states that the third film will be the last franchise if they want to do a trilogy? You see, I don't know. And I mean, they made 3 Star Wars films, but look what happened there. Those 9 movies. Well, okay, maybe about 12 of them if you count the side stories and the one animated movie made. Yeah, because there's the one animated movie of Star Wars, then there's Han Solo, and then Rogue One. So that's what 12 movies there. But anyway, point is that you can't exactly claim that the third will be the final installment of the series when other franchises say the same thing, but we're not making more anyway. But okay, but yeah. When the first film was completed, the article states that Jennifer Lee, one of the people who was behind the movies, it was still unsure whether Frozen 3 would be made, which I highly question because at the time they highly doubt they would even make a second part. If they were not planning to make a second part, how can they be planning to make a third one? But yeah. I mean, yeah, she did feel like the first movie was the end. They felt the first movie concluded the story, but went on to make the second movie. And again, they repeat the same thing, that the second movie felt like a conclusion as well. So they said that twice in a row with both films. So yeah, that of course is something that I brought up before, I guess. So yeah, and the article states that the story for Frozen 3 will start from where Frozen 2 ended. Again, that doesn't make any sense because there's no way the article would know that, really. Because, again, nothing had announced. The film, the story, would do its, of course, its thing. But the article made a bad, I guess you can say a factor error, calling Frozen 2 a second sequel. Frozen 2 is not a second sequel. It's the fourth sequel to a franchise. The first Frozen film is not a sequel. Calling Frozen 2 a second sequel implies that the first one is a sequel, which it isn't. So you got that wrong as well when you think about it. But okay, moving on from that. So of course, would there actually be another one? I don't think so. The article does bring up what happens at the end of part 2. What am I going to, point out? Because I know not everyone has seen it, of course. But anyway, moving from that, so of course, the sequel of Frozen 2 does, show that how Elsa exactly got her powers. Really, how that happened? How is it that Anna doesn't have powers? She does. But of course, it was something that I discussed before, obviously. But the article went on to say that, secondly, Elsa may have many more supernatural powers to resolve the identity of the mysterious voice, which still hasn't been still unknown. Well, that's wrong because the story itself of Frozen 2 did explore who was the voice exactly. Who was his voice? That was not really. It was explained in the film, of course. And the fact that Elsa having more powers, no, the film didn't include the fact that she may have more powers. So yeah, the article got that wrong again. So yeah, I don't think it's of course correct, really, them to assume that, of course. But yeah, folks, just Yeah, the article isn't really providing any evidence, really, at all, to suggest that there's going to be another one. So it's just like many of the other articles, guessing, if anything. So, of course, that comes off like it's just misleading. You can't just guess and say that it's an update, which this article has not done, really, like, at all. But yeah, of course, they bring up one of the female characters who's supposed to be a sister or whatever. Not Elsa Nana, but some other female character. I mean, okay, just because there's some relatives in the Enchanted Forest, that's not evidence in itself that there's gonna be more. And so apparently the article went on to state that there was some leaked news into the news media platform that Disney is gonna announce a release for Frozen 3. And I always find that questionable. I know some people might say link this or link that, but I always find that questionable. I mean, who's gonna be doing that exactly? Would they just come up over there and just sneak around and got some news or some newsworthy information or whatever? So yeah, I always find that when people say the script for this movie or this and that, or some important factors of a sort of movie has been leaked, I always find that questionable from the start. It just seems like a clickbaity, if you ask me. And and the article again states that however Disney hadn't officially announced Frozen 3. Yeah, it just said the article just said that, but okay, whatever it is. But anyway, I know a lot of fans want to see a Frozen 3, but don't include that because I think it should be left alone. Like I asked before, why ruin a good thing? Just leave it alone. But another thing I did bring up is that a lot of fans. I'm going to bring up just one time. I'm not going to go too much into it because I've already brought up before. It's that the fans just want to see pretty images. That's it. They just want to see really pretty images. See Elsa and Anna in various outfits. I guess because that's all a lot of Frozen fans seem to talk about. That the outfits, yeah, the dresses, and then the dresses and whatnot, the hairdo, the makeup. So a lot of people, a lot of fans will see a third film just for not for story wise, really, not to progress the story, really, but rather to see pretty images. That's literally it. Oh man, I feel like I'm repeating myself here. I mean, really. Then if they made a third movie and it turns out to be bad, then you get mad and then blame Disney for making piece of slop, piece of garbage, piece of trash, or however you want to say that. Which seems weird. I can get mad at the company for giving you what you want, but whatever, guys. Just if anything, a lot of fans just want to see another one just for the superficial reasons, really. So again, I came across this article that didn't really provide any kind of evidence whatsoever, really. But yeah, I can tired of reporting this kind of thing. I keep coming at this over and over again, folks. But yeah, like I said, I just throw my 2 cents in there, really, if anything. And but yeah, they should leave it alone. They really should leave it alone. I mean, unless someone come up with a good story, I guess, a really good story. But a lot of these articles just don't want to really go into it. They claim they want to go into it. Like apparently that article I just said had some updates, which it really didn't, like at all. It's, except for what supposedly linked information for the possibility of a third movie. Despite the fact that the same article twice it said Disney has not announced officially that they're gonna make a third one. So yeah, it seems rather misleading.